So first, I wanted to ask you, we know that the White House has said that one of the moves of tariffs is to revitalize industry in the U.S. So I'm wondering, Mayor Melton, do you share the White House's optimism that the tariffs will revitalize the domestic steel industry?
Well, when we look at history, I think we have seen that tariffs will show an immediate effect, but not a lasting, a long-term effect. And one of the concerns I have specifically as mayor of the city of Gary, U.S. Steel is one of the nation's largest steel manufacturers. We want to make sure that jobs are protected. We want to ensure that manufacturing and production continues to go. There's no impact. But I do believe protecting our economy from cheaper steel that has historically flooded into the market that did impact us several years ago. So there could be some immediate benefits, but making sure that those rising costs are not passed on to consumers.
Let's touch on that for a moment, Mayor Melton. I wanted to ask you, in terms of your concerns with the announcement of tariffs, what are they for the community? What have you heard in terms of what economists are saying will lead to more inflation and higher prices at a time when people are struggling?
Yeah, I talked to a local business owner just this morning, and they shared their concerns of a new construction project that they're waiting to get started this year, and the cost of steel. They're worried that could go up ultimately and be passed on and delay their project. And as a mayor, that project will bring tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, tax dollars, also more jobs and increasing our local economy. So I think that's a simple example, but we also can use examples such as the cost of canned goods going up, because that's used in the steel making process, or aluminum, or the cost of a car, or the cost of a washing machine. So all of these things, we are very cognizant that it can impact the individuals on a local level.
We know that ramping up domestic production can certainly take time. So how are you viewing this potential shift here and this move from the White House? Is it short-term pain, long-term gain, or is the jury still out?
Well, I think the jury is still out. I just want to caution of triggering either some type of long-term trade war that can go on. History has shown us for every action, there's a reaction. And all of the nations are going to protect their interests. And I do want the United States to protect our interests as well. So I think it's having very strong conversations collectively with our partners, our allies around the world, to figure out how can we have a balanced approach that's fair and equitable across the board.
Let's also talk about the importance of the industry in your community. Just how integrated is it? Is it something that's felt by nearly every family in Gary?
Well, absolutely. I mean, U.S. Steel is one of the largest landholders here in the city of Gary. U.S. Steel is also one of the largest employers. I would say 10 to 15% of their 4,800 employees are right here in Gary. So that is something that we look at every single day. We honor and celebrate the United Steelworkers. Myself, my mother, and father were a part of that union. So I truly know, growing up in the city, how important that working class family is. So we're watching very closely. We want to make sure that we educate the public on everything that's transpiring on a national level.
We know also that, of course, Canada is very concerned about tariffs coming into effect here. I'm wondering if you're able to speak to the relationship between Gary, Indiana, and the industry in Canada specifically, and how this might impact that.
Yeah, well, I just want to shout out my good friend Scott Gillingham, mayor of Winnipeg. He and I are both in a leadership initiative through Bloomberg Philanthropies and Harvard. So that relationship alone, I think, is an example of how the United States of America and Canada has built an alliance over the years. So moving forward, we are having conversations how we can better educate our local leaders, how we can better educate our local communities on our relationship. But when it comes to steel, that's something that I believe the shipments of various minerals and other components that come from Lake Michigan right into Gary, Indiana, into our ports. There's a direct link and connection on a national and global scale right here in the city of Gary.
Would you have a final message for the White House, if you could, on the impact of tariffs on your community and on this important relationship?
Yeah, I just encourage ongoing conversations, pulling leaders to the table, having a more robust conversation on what can be done that it will not raise cost on consumers. We know that Americans across the world, or across the nation, I'm sorry, are struggling. Grocery prices are going up, gas prices possibly going up, and it's going to have an impact on the everyday person. So I think this is extremely critical that these conversations are held on a global scale, and local leaders like myself and mayors around the country, whatever we can do to lend that support, we want to be able to provide that.
I want to thank you very much for your time today, Mayor Melton.
Thank you so much for having me.
Eddie Melton is the mayor of Gary, Indiana. Thank you.